So, Money in the Bank just happened. And I kid you not. This show had so much potential, and they shot themselves in the foot. I have not seen all of the matches. I didn't see AJ versus Seth, but I know who wins. Let's talk about what I did see. I saw the pre-show match with the Usos. I have to ask, how in the world do you justify the logic of the Usos beating Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan on the pre-show? How do you justify that? You just gave Eric Rowan and Daniel Bryan the tag team championships for SmackDown Live. The Usos are Raw guys. Keep that in mind. And yet they were given a title opportunity for the championships of a brand they are no longer a part of. I thought they won. I was told they won. Now, I could be wrong, so don't hold me to that. But if so, that is ridiculously stupid. It makes no sense whatsoever how in the world you can justify that. Did they win? I'm trying to find the source for it. Women's Money in the Bank, anyways. Alright, thanks, man. Women's Money in the Bank. You know what? It's getting it up. I really liked it. Thought it was really good. Except for, if I can critique it a little bit. If you would allow me to peel back and just a few minor complaints, a few nitpicks. The chemistry of all the women was not there. It wasn't too distracting, but it was bad at times. Like, oh, I'm going to grab her ankle to pull her off the ladder. Well, she's going to not necessarily just slide her feet off. She's going to hop off. So they dropped down, and it looks like they just hopped off and just decided to keep fighting, like they didn't want to be there or on the rope or on the ladder anymore. And then it was like, for some, this was probably just a tiny little detail, but it frustrated me so much. Why did every single person in the ladder match have to keep adjusting the ladder by a micro-inch? Stop. Please. It is annoying. Leave the ladder alone. If it gets slightly off, deal with it. Stop fixing it. It does not need to be perfect for you to climb the ladder. This is not WWE 2K19 where you need to put it directly under it perfectly every time for you to be able to climb it. No, it wasn't a title match. It wasn't the Usos versus Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan was not a title match. See, the ending though, if we can talk about the ending real quick, it was the cringiest, one of the cringiest endings I've ever seen. Not Jack Swagger's delay pulling down the briefcase. This, picture this. Sonya Deville has Mandy Rose in a fireman's carry, like on your shoulders, draped over. Military, like fireman's carry. She's going up the ladder. Mandy Rose wakes up. She kind of Sonya nudges her up. They're both like standing there, and then all of a sudden Bayley sprints up, and then like gets one rung higher than her, so she looks taller than her, and they stare at each other for a good three seconds, 3, 4, 5 seconds. Nobody throwing punches, just Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville with their mouths hanging open like a bunch of dumb llamas. And then Bayley pushes them, unclips it. Now, I typically don't like to nitpick, but when that's your ending, I'm sorry, I have to call so much BS on that. And I substituted the words because, I don't like to actually use any of the words. But I have to call so much crap all over that. Why? Why did you have a stare down? Why couldn't you just have Bayley actually nudge the ladder? Oh, wait, because you constantly nudge the ladder 5 billion times to make it right. If you were smart, you'd have Bayley drop kick the ladder. Whoa, such a weird concept. Knocking over a ladder, drop kicking a ladder, attacking the people from behind, power bombing Sonya Deville, power bombing. Like, all you had to do was just leap up, clothesline Sonya Deville, and then power bomb Mandy Rose. Now, maybe that's a scary spot to do. I don't know. Regardless, don't sit up there for 5 seconds. Please. It is cringy. At least block a punch and then slap her across the face. Mandy Rose turns back, shoves her off, or like cracks her with a briefcase. Something, because there was nothing. And it was so frustrating because it was Bayley's moment and it was absolutely cringeworthy. And I'm not going to fault her. If that was Vince's idea or anybody else's in the back, you're a stupid moron. If someone missed their cue, Mandy and Sonya, or they forgot their spot for the end, you're idiots. You'd think the ending you'd have nailed down. Wow. That was abysmal. But you know what? The right person, or a person I wanted to win won. I wanted Ember Moon, but Bayley was a close second. So, I digress from my complaints. Back to the main point, which is talking about the show, because I was nitpicking, so now I'm back here. So anyways, that match happened. I was thinking, okay, could have been worse. Cringy ending. But one of the right people won. We move on to, from what I remember, I didn't see everything. I think it was the Cruiserweight Championship match. Kira Daivari and Tony Nese. Good match. Nobody gave a crap. I love how everyone's just like, oh, Kira Daivari had the Alberto Del Rio entrance. What a wannabe. Sorry, I did the voice for longer than that, but everyone's like, oh, he's like Alberto Del Rio. He's a wannabe. Like, oh no, him driving in a limousine or car hasn't been done before. We're really going to talk about Alberto Del Rio riding in on cars. Really? JBL did it before him. And before him, Eddie Guerrero. I loved it. I love the entrance. I just think it's hilarious that everyone's like, oh, he's a wannabe. He's an Alberto Del Rio wannabe. No, like, get off his back about it. With that logic, you could see Batista was pulling an Alberto Del Rio because he came in with this giant elaborate car or convoy at WrestleMania. I don't know, of course, Alberto Del Rio has never done a convoy, but that's besides the point. It's like every time someone brings out a vehicle, it's like, oh, that's Alberto Del Rio. What's wrong with him riding up in a limousine? If anything, JBL did it before Alberto Del Rio. So why the heck are we talking about an Alberto Del Rio 2.0? He's not even Spanish or Mexican. Wherever Alberto Del Rio is from. Daivari's not that. Why? Idiots. Moving on. Good match. Nobody cared. or the crowd didn't care. Um, oh yeah, you see what happens when you leave the company, Sasha. Yeah, people all of a sudden start caring about the women's division. Woo! Also, you just gave Bailey a giant slingshot. Screw you, Sasha. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. We don't need you. Yeah, Del Rio is Mexican. Thank you. United States title match. I don't know what happened. I don't know how long the match ran. I don't know any of this. I know the ending. Everyone's saying how the refs screwed up off of a weird pin attempt by Rey Mysterio because Joe's shoulder was up. Here's my counter argument to that. Because I think it's hilarious that I called this. I called it. I called it the only way to salvage it if you were going to put Rey as champion. I told this to people I know on PS4. If you're going to have them salvage this with Rey winning, you have to have it by a roll-up, and you have to have Joe beat someone senseless. And you know what? He post-match beat down the heck out of Rey. It was up the entire time. I agree. So now we have Joe involved in another shady pinfall. I thought you give them 10 minutes to work their magic. Joe gets rolled up. Maybe he goes for the muscle buster. Rey, I don't know. Joe pulls off a low blow behind the referee's back early on in the match. Tries to go for submission. Rey counters it. But then it comes back to bite him later on where Rey's son distracts him and then rolls him up. 1, 2, 3. Bam. Or Joe's bullying the referee around the ring. Everyone wants payback. And the referee does a fast count in response to Joe pushing him around and being a jerk. Bam. Payback. I wanted him to beat up Dominic. That would have been great. I even said to people that he should handcuff Rey Mysterio to the ring post while he beats Dominic senseless. But you know what? That's not PG. So we can't do that. What a bunch of wimps. It was a perfect opportunity. But anyways, nonetheless, I actually wouldn't have written it any better. Except for giving them more time. Well, I probably... Besides the whole bullying the referee storyline, because then you could carry it over. Joe calls out the referee, or the referee refs a match on Monday Night Raw. Joe attacks him, chokes him out, and just beats him senseless. That would be cool. All of a sudden, referees are involved in storylines, ladies and gentlemen, back like the Attitude Era. Whoa! Unbelievable. So, lo and behold, Joe looks like an utter psychopath and brutal person, and Rey still is the champion. Boom. Wouldn't have written it any better, but no. I doubt we'll get that. Now, as far as the post-match beatdown and the shady pin, I totally agreed with it. Because that was the only way you were going to make Rey as champion to me. That was the only believable thing. You don't know Mike Chioda. I can't remember other guys' names. I know one that just got signed to AEW. I can't remember his name. Know his face. Mike Chioda. Who was the guy that who was brought in for the Sting pin? He did the shady pin for Daniel Bryan, and Triple H was like, I'll use you. Like, later on, you'll work for me. Was it Lance Armstrong? Something like that. It was something Armstrong. No, Earl Hebner was the screw job. This was, it was like Scott Armstrong or something. It was Scott Armstrong, yeah, because Triple H waved in Sting, or right before Sting came out, he waved down, and then everyone's like, oh, or JBL was like, of course, Scott Armstrong, 1, 2, and then Sting debuted. I think so too, but regardless. I don't know too many referees, but there was also the heavy one that was known for being pushed around, like taking the bumps from Triple H during the Attitude Era, and he was the one that screwed Triple H over for Jericho in that title win. I can't remember that guy, but that's what I'm thinking. Like, involved referees. Whoa! Referees don't like being bullied. Referees take the bumps all the time. Anyways, so that match happened. I probably would have given him more time, but whatever. I don't run this show. I don't run this company. Maybe I should do a podcast where I book a month of just WWE content. And I bet I could write it better than that. Without going PG, without going too far into PG-13. You kind of infringe upon it, but you don't do it the whole time. Anyways, so off that point, after that match, it was the Roman match. No. It was not the Roman match. It was the Becky Lynch matches. So she had to defend her 2 titles, and by gosh, this was cringy. This was cringy. I could not stand certain things in these matches. Lacey Evans looked good, looked great. She lost. There was some weird botch right beforehand. No, you're right, but we'll go back to Shane and Miz in a second. Yeah, like Lacey Evans rolled Becky up, and the ref never counted. He like started on one side and then like ran around them to check the other shoulder, and then Becky just rolled it into the forearm. No pin. Or no count at all, and I was just like, okay, this just happened. Alrighty then. That was it. That was it. Charlotte comes out, she wins the title. And once she won the title, I swear to you, I was thinking, no, do not cash in. Becky cashes in. Wins the title. Yay! No. Lacey Evans' attire was good, though. And entrance. No. Why are we doing this again? It's like we just do not care about the briefcase anymore. And I say that. But think about this. Dean, in 2016, cashed in at Money in the Bank. 2018, Alexa Bliss cashed in at Money in the Bank. Now, in 2019, Bayley cashed in at Money in the Bank. Why are we having 3 of these in the span of 3 years? Or 4 years, whatever. I would have had Becky roll Charlotte up and survive by the skin of her teeth. And then what you do, ironically, or how I would have changed it, was Bayley cashes in before the match starts to cancel out Charlotte. Whoa. Then Bayley beats Becky one-on-one, with the only downside being that Becky wasn't 100%. Now you have Bayley and Charlotte feud for SmackDown Live. Wow, such a hard concept. But yet it was written better because you know what? Bayley actually wrestled a full match. She didn't just show up and win it. That's how I would have rewritten it. Because that's stupid, poor booking on their part. That's sloppy. No, stop being sloppy. So annoying how they're just throwing this together and there's more sloppy writing. Anyways, we have to backtrack because Shane and Miz also happened before Becky Becky's matches. Lacey Evans, I hope she gets another shot at Becky's title in the future. She's a great character. I loved her in NXT. So glad they're giving her opportunities. However, Shane and Miz match wouldn't have changed a thing. It was brilliant. Excellent job by these two. Hats off to both of them. They deserve it. They were great. However, my only discrepancy was the fact that the referee called for a rope break inside a steel cage and broke up the pin. There is no rope breaks ever in steel cages unless you announce that beforehand. The finish, if anybody can imagine this, Miz was setting up Shane on top of the steel cell. Well, they were kind of just like laid out on it. Like laid up against the top of the steel structure to where they're both kind of like enveloping on either side. Shane's hanging out toward the outside to win the match. Miz is on the inside. Miz tries to go for a superplex back inside the ring. From that angle where they're both, like, I kid you not, they were both limp on either side, and Shane gets his arm like thrown over Miz, like Miz was gonna somehow do a suplex like that. And I'm just like, this is not going to work. This is going to be a shady ending. Shane slips through his shirt and wins. Falls to the floor to win. Now, it would have been different if he used the ropes, like when he did the rope break. Say maybe he grabbed the ropes and pulled himself toward it to like get Miz off of him. I would abide that, because that's you using that's ring awareness right there. That's you using the environment to gain an advantage over your opponent by staying alive in the match. Wow, such a hard concept. But then it was lackluster because Miz kind of needs closure. I thought they would do the closure thing here. Maybe not. And the good news is we have Super Showdown, so maybe Miz like eliminates Shane to get an edge up on him. This feud has been written very well so far. You just don't want to beat the horse dead. I'd say you have Shane take time off till Super Showdown, and then eliminates Miz. Like, he shows up out of nowhere and just eliminates him. Saudi Arabia won't get it, or maybe some will, most won't. But then we come back, Shane completely no-shows again, and Miz is irate. Like, so you can build that long-term storyline, still do some things, but you gotta have to backtrack it, and then you ramp it up there for the final conclusion where Miz wins. That has to be certain at this point, that he wins. Like, you gotta book carefully around it. Anyways, after the Becky matches, we had Roman and Elias, and it's Roman. Whoever cheered for him, it's your opinion if you like him or not. But no words to really describe how I feel, because all I can do is sigh. He's part of the problem. He's the problem. You do a wild card and you put him on both shows all the time. I do not care for his character. His character is written horribly. He sucks. He's boring. I can't relate to him at all. I do not care if he survived cancer or Joe survived cancer. I feel sorry for Joe, the guy behind the character. I do not care for Roman coming back and saying, "Ooh, I beat cancer. Now I'm gonna dominate." He didn't even try to make Elias look credible. Who wrote this? Who wrote this? You should be fired on the spot. You can't write Elias to be at least credible against Roman? No, because Roman's God in wrestling, right? He's God. He's Super Cena. You can't touch him. Because you know what? Roman's got his own golden shovel. You touch him, it's like touching an electric fence and the third rail on a train track. You die. Your career dies. I don't care about his heritage. I don't care about his bloodline. I don't care where he's come from. The fact is, he sucks on the mic. He can't sell a match. Is Roman, or is the guy behind the character devoted to wrestling? Absolutely. Do I think that guy behind the character is compelling? He's super cool. He's so awesome to talk to and hang out with. But his character is written so poorly, so unrelatably, that nobody can hook on to this guy and go, man, I can relate to that. The only thing that was relatable was something that happened in real life, and it's when he got cancer. That was the only relatable thing in life. But he's not relatable. He just wins every time. Every time. He never loses a feud. Except Lesnar. And yet they still act like he won the feud. No, you lost. Yeah, 2015. He was cheered throughout 2015. He was cheered in 2014. Well, no. He was cheered in 2014 and was cheered in 2015 somewhat. But then we're here at Money in the Bank where people cheer this crap. No, yeah, sure, let's cheer the crap that's causing this company to die. Golly, it's so infuriating. So no one is on this guy's level. No one's on Roman's level. He's untouchable. He's indestructible. He beat Brock Lesnar once. Brock Lesnar beat him down 3 times. Don't focus on that. Focus on the fact that Roman won. Ignore the fact that Brock beat him 3 times. They have written themselves in a corner with this guy. Same with Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman, they have to make an idiot to nullify his power. His power's off the charts, so they're like, oh crap, we made him look super strong. Let's make him big and dumb. Horrible. Roman, well, nobody's on his power level, so we're just going to have him squash everybody. Why not have people beat him? Whoa! All of a sudden, we can relate to a guy who's struggling. The problem is, he's not built like a guy that's an underdog. So he can put over people because he's a powerhouse. Wow. Nope, didn't put over Drew. Drew is a powerhouse. Drew should be chasing the world title now that AJ has lost at Money in the Bank. Nope. I don't see Drew gunning for the title. Hopefully he does. Or Bobby Lashley. What about Leo Rush? Let's actually pay for his hotel because you know what? He's so broke in WWE because they can't give him a good enough paycheck. Huh. Odd. It is like they have no idea what they're doing. Roman showing up on SmackDown. Immediately like, oh, it's the biggest acquisition in SmackDown history. Shut the heck up. Shut the heck up. You're boring. WWE, you're boring. That's how you write that? Oh, Roman's the biggest acquisition. No, the biggest acquisition was nowhere near him. I'd say it's his cousin The Rock, who's actually a star. Whoa. It actually has something called, let me think about it, a personality. Because, you know, you doing your own version of the 5 moves of doom isn't called personality. It's called me not giving a crap and hitting the remote control button saying click, click, click. Because that's all I want to do is just click right by your matches because they're not interesting. They're not exciting. They're not entertaining me. They're boring me over and over and over. It feels like I'm forced to watch something with my eyes singed open and I can't close them. I just have to watch because it's so painful. It's like yanking teeth out. And the sad part is, as Panda just said in the comments, this guy has charisma, yet they write him so poorly and bland and stale. It makes me hate his guts, and it makes me want to just beat him senseless and wring his neck because he just snickers and laughs. He punches Vince in the face, and what do? Nothing. So he sits there and says, well, I can do what I want whenever I want. Oh, the Usos can roll up on SmackDown because I said they can do that whenever they want. Shut your mouth. Who wrote this? You're trash. You're fired. Leave. Vince, if that's you, you suck. If you booked Roman to Superman punch you, you stick him in a gauntlet match. You stick him in the gauntlet. You make him survive. And by the way, you don't have him beat those 3 people. You pick 3 people, mid-card people, and you have them win. Why? Because it makes sense. Roman's a main eventer. The mid-carders get the win. They look, whoa, wouldn't you know it? Stronger. Because they beat Roman. But no, you don't know how to write anything. You have no concept of how to tell a story. You have no concept on how to build wrestlers. You only build one wrestler, and that's Roman, because that's your jerk-off material. And because you can't stop finishing all over your jerking material, you keep pushing him. Over and over and over and over till I have a sour taste in my mouth and I just want to kill myself when I watch wrestling. So when people ask me, how's wrestling? Gee, I don't know. Is Roman dead yet? That's how I feel toward this character because he sucks. Roman's character sucks. Roman as a person is awesome. I love him and I wish never for him to have cancer again because he is such a genuine and kind person. But holy crap, you have no idea how to tell a story. You have no idea how to write something. You have no idea how to push other characters around him or build people up to his equal. You just want to send him straight to the stratosphere and then keep everybody on ground level and restrict them, restrain them, bind them, suffocate them until they hate this company, they want to leave this company, and they want to quit this company like Leo Rush, like Neville, like so many others, because all you do is push a certain set of guys, and then you belittle, you berate, and you put down everybody else till they hate their job, till they don't want to be here anymore. You want to know why the revival? You want to know why Chris Jericho? You want to know why so many guys want to leave this company? It is because you cannot write. You cannot tell a story. Want to know what the news flash, WWE? You know what's long-lasting? Stories. Whoa, big mind shock. Why? Because people remember the stories. The stories are what tell wrestling. Not the wrestling matches, Kenny Omega or Dave Meltzer or any of your stupid 5-star or 7-star, 6-star, whatever the heck matches they are. Those matches mean nothing if you can't tell a story. Want to know how many matches the Kenny Omegas had that are actually story-driven, that are compelling? Few. One match. One with Okada. One of them was storytelling. One. Why was it only one out of those 3? Because the one had to do with Wrestle Kingdom, where it made, sense. Their second bout, they met in the G1 again. That makes sense. Because they're opponents. So at least it made sense. Want to know what didn't make sense? Why the hell Okada would challenge him to a fight. For a third, no. Then Okada beat him in a third match. No, he did draw it in the third match. So in Okada's mind, why would you accept a match against the guy who's beaten you? You've beaten him. You have nothing left to prove. It's terrible writing. You don't just do that. You've already got the one in the win column. You don't need to ever fight him again. This is the stupid thing about some of these writers. They're like, well, we really want another match. You know what we'll do? We'll have them draw. And then Okada will be like, you know what? I really just want to prove that I'm better by just fighting him again. Because what the heck? You want to know how well that did? You lost again. You beat him in your very first match. Why is this a problem? Why did you ever say yes to a draw match? Why did you ever say yes a second time to another challenge? No, why did you even call him out for a match? That was stupid. And then Kenny Omega belittles and puts down the title and constantly puts it in non-threatening scenarios. I've gotten completely off track. But this company has no idea what they're doing. This company has their heads cut off, and they're scrambling around with blood spurting all over the walls because they're like, they have no idea what they're doing. They are stupid. Write Roman better than this. How? You make other people around him on SmackDown feel credible. Whoa, you want to know how you do that? By having good matches. Whoa, you want to know how you do that? Time management. You want to know what you do? You trim down those fatty matches that have so much ridiculous time, and you lo and behold, give it to other people. Whoa! All of a sudden, Joe and Ray can wrestle for 6 minutes instead of 3. Roman and Elias don't have a job match. How about you have everybody just shut up and fight? Such a hard concept on a pay-per-view. Wow. It's almost like I've written this better than them. Plenty of times. It's almost like I know what I'm talking about. Because at least my fan base is still growing, WWE. Anyways, after the Roman match, AJ and Seth happened. I heard it was a good match. I didn't see it, so I don't want to give an opinion on it too much. Right guy won. Keep it on Seth. Problem is, you pulled the trigger too early on this match because you needed a selling point for your pay-per-view. And we had this dream match too early. I feel like it could have been SummerSlam where electricity would have been in the air and people would have been like, okay, maybe they might just give it to maybe they'll just give it to AJ. Maybe they'll have Seth keep on it. We don't know. Let's find out. All of a sudden, it becomes all the more intriguing because nobody knows what's happening. Wow. Such a hard concept. It's almost like you have no idea how you're booking everybody. Wow. But you can't even book Ricochet right. You can't even book Andrade right. You can't even book this guy right, that guy right. Alistair, here's a brilliant idea about Alistair. Have him shut up. Don't do any vignettes. This is the one character. This is the one guy that has charisma. So much so that he doesn't even need to speak. You want to know what he should do? Lars Sullivan should clear house. Clear house over people. The whole SmackDown locker room tries to step up to him. Guess what Lars should do? Hit Roman with the big one. The freak accident. Roman doesn't get up. Lars Sullivan stands over him, looking victorious, and then turns right around. Black mass to the face. Lars doesn't fall, though. He drops to one knee. And Alistair just sits down in his cross-legged form and just looks at him. After striking him, and Lars just glares at him and says, I will kill you for that. Or something like that. Some big threat where it's like, ooh. And then Alistair just deadpan looks at him. And then Lars leaves the ring. Respect for a guy that managed to drop him to his knee. You build Aleister Black as a threat because not even Roman could stop Lars. But Aleister stopped him. And you don't even need to have Aleister speak. A guy who's great on the mic, not speaking. What is this? It's called a guy who has so much charisma in his character that he doesn't need to speak. That's what's brilliant. Literally have Aleister be the guy that just strikes. He doesn't need to justify his actions. He just does it. He's the anti-hero. Let him be the anti-hero. Let him just be him. It's simple. So simple. And I could go on for ages talking about each individual thing. What I think about Bray. What I think about Roman. How I would book Aleister or Lars or something. Honestly, I should do a podcast talking about how I booked WWE for 1 month. 1 month. 4 weeks. 8 shows. Raw, SmackDown, and whatever pay-per-view. I could write it way better, in my opinion, than them without even delving too far into the PG-14 side of things. Wow. Now, I say that because I'm sitting from the cheap seats, but I'm willing to take on that challenge and hearing what people think about how I'd write it differently, and if they think it would be better than some of what they've done so far this year. TEW exists for that. No, I exist for that because I take up the challenge in my universe mode to write crap better than this because this is unacceptable. Anyways, apparently people are stupid and don't even realize that AJ was a heel in 2016. They were saying that he was a face because people cheered him and booed Roman. You all are a bunch of idiots because Vince still treated Roman as the face and AJ as the heel. Clearly nobody has any clue that AJ was a heel at the time. They're like, oh, he was cheered. Yeah, because we actually love him more than Roman. Roman's boring. We loved AJ being heel because it was cool. AJ was a heel against Cena, but they're like, not really. He just attacked him. No, that's a heel. Idiots. Anyways, we get to the men's main event, and this was like watching a train wreck. Apparently, Sammy got attacked. I didn't have a good angle or a good clear clip of what happened to him. It looked like he got strung up, kind of deal. So it made me think that Bray did it, and Bray Wyatt would be the villain for him. But at the last minute, like they do Vince is like, everybody's like laid out because they beaten each other senseless, and then Vince is like, well, I have one more person. Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt comes out and just annihilates everybody. Takes the briefcase and wins. So, apparently, this is a weird concept. Let's just throw in a guy who wasn't even announced in the match and just have him win. If he wasn't announced for the match, it doesn't count. It doesn't count. I do not care what anybody says about said match. It doesn't count at all. Brock isn't in the match. It doesn't count. Simple concept. Wow. Such a hard thing to grasp. Oh yeah, Kofi and Kevin happened. I heard that was decent. I didn't get a chance to watch that either, so I'll refrain from giving my opinion. So, and I apologize for going right on the microphone. I just wanted to emphasize my point. Maybe I went a little too close with the mic, but It's ridiculous. Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with Brock. If you ever meet Brock Lesnar or listen to any of his interviews, he is one of the nicest guys. Sorry, I'm just so pent up with just ruthless aggression that I had to emphasize my point a lot. So, rip for anybody's headphones about a minute and a half ago. Brock is one of the best guys you could ever meet. Yet they write him so horribly. Yet I said something that was so simplistic. Have Brock show up on random shows. F5 people. Tease a cash in like, haha, look how easy it is to just cash this in and leave. Bam. He's being a face by not cashing in on the good guys, but being a heel because he's beating everybody up. Heck, maybe he shows up one day to try to cash in, but let's see. Lars Sullivan gets in his face. Brock Lesnar backs off. Or Aleister Black. Black masses Brock. Brock stumbles. Back. Dazed. You can all of a sudden build stars. Just never have Roman step in the ring with Brock. Face Brock was awesome. I absolutely loved him. But no, let's piss on the fact that he was ever entertaining since returning in 2012. Face Brock in 2015 was awesome. I do not care what anybody says. I absolutely loved his run as WWE Champion. And then when he returned to fight the Weasley Seth Rollins. Awesome. I wouldn't have wrote it any better. And then they just... when the downfall started, it was around the time of the Dean match. The Dean Ambrose match in WrestleMania 32. That's when everybody started turning on Brock. Because then the whole thing with Randy happened afterwards. Cutting his head open. Goldberg taking the title, holding it for eternity. Yeah. Yeah, the Dean match was his downfall. How ironic too. I love how Dean just points the finger at Brock like, oh well, it's because he didn't want to do anything special. Shut the heck up. That is where you be the leader. You be the man and just take responsibility. I don't care who did what. You just say that we both had differences of how we wanted to do the match. You don't just put everything on Brock and act like, oh, it's all his fault. It's all his fault. Like, screw you. Maybe it was Brock's fault. Where in the hell was that your business to share? I don't care. Because now you're painting a bad picture on Brock as a person. Not as a character, but as a person. That's disrespectful. Maybe that's how Brock acted. We don't know because it's none of our business. And it's just so stupid. Because that really made me dislike Dean as a person. It's like you're really going to jam the finger in someone else's chest and not just say that we just had differences. And you're not going to be vague and just kind of act like, we both just disagreed. Like, leave it at that. It's not like he was giving Stone Cold short answers in that podcast anyways. Da-da-da-da. Anyways, Brock won. That was something. Yeah. Yeah. That was Ricochet or Andrade should have won. I'm just so crushed, so defeated. Brock's Money in the Bank. They're probably not going to do anything special with how they write him. I hope they do. It was an okay pay-per-view. Had its ups, had its downs. All in all, I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. It was decent. Could have been better. Should have been better. But they just dropped the ball. What are you doing? That is where whoever won should have been laid out by Bray Wyatt. Balor was never going to win. Corbin wasn't going to win because they didn't want anybody. Well, now that I say that, maybe they should have had Baron Corbin win instead of Brock. That would have given Baron major heel heat. But whatever. Whatever. I exhausted myself of talking about it. This was my rant of WWE Money in the Bank 2019. Hopefully I don't have to do one of these again. But, however, if you guys want me to do other topics about wrestling and you want to hear my thoughts about it, please let me know in the comments section or any other places. Just let me know. I love doing this kind of content, despite me kind of being bitter about this show. It had its bright moments, but there's just an equal amount of negatives to just make me just go, what are you doing? Over and over and over. Every time they took a step forward, they took a step back in the show, and it just turned into a meh show. So, Money in the Bank's over. We'll see where we go from here. Hopefully I don't need to do any more of these, but I probably will. Well, I mean like reviewing the pay-per-views. It's exhausting, because I just feel so angry. And I don't want to be angry at wrestling. I don't want to be angry at the thing I'm passionate about. It's just so frustrating at times, because I see the light where they can go, and they just go deeper into the dark abyss, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like, look, this is what you could do to make everything more interesting, and they don't do it. Frustrating. That's the word for it. Frustrating. I'm frustrated with WWE. And screw people telling me to then go watch AEW, because piss off. You have troubles with your own world title match. Pac. Now, whether that's a work or not, I don't care. Still doesn't change the fact that you can barely write stories to save your life. Oh, yeah. Goldust left WWE? Wow, we're going to have him fight Cody Rhodes. Why? Here's a 2-minute promo package. Why? We're not going to do anything for the episodes on their own YouTube channel to try to book it, like we were doing with a possible Cody Rhodes versus JTF or whatever his name is. MJF. Yeah, nope. I thought that was going to lead to a match. I was like, wow, this is actually a good story. Nope. Didn't happen. I was like, okay, I guess that's not happening. And then the Young Bucks just, they none of these matches can right themselves. Nothing makes sense in their booking. Neville was the only guy that actually told a good narrative. He wants to be there to prove that he was worth, that a certain company should have never kept him off screen. Makes perfect sense. He wants to prove the world wrong, that he could step on a big stage and be the man. But they have nothing for Adam Page. Why Adam Page is there? Don't worry about it. He's number one contender. Why Pac's number one contender? Don't worry about it. Nobody cares. Don't focus on that. At least Pac's justification for why he's in the title match, or at least why he wants to be in the title match, makes sense. but they never explained how either of them earned it, why they're in it, or nothing makes sense. Same with every other match. The Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros was like, okay, this could be good. Nope, they decided to fight a match in Japan or Mexico, and then guess what? Lo and behold, the Young Bucks took their Latino titles from Mexico. So guess what's probably going to happen? Because they put the titles on the line. Lucha Bros are going to win the titles back. Predictable. Thank you for just making this match so predictable. But anyways, that's all I got for Money in the Bank. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel, of course, if you choose. I might not try to edit this or anything. I'll just probably listen or leave it up. And if for anybody that wants to listen, you can listen and then stare at Lacey Evans and this Money in the Bank logo the whole time. Doesn't matter to me. But thank you guys for tuning in live. Stone Cold Panda. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully on Clash of Champions, which might be this Thursday if I have time for it. But thanks, guys, and as always, Pseudo Mad Army. I'll see you all next time. I'll try to do videos in between for this week, like later shows or later like videos in the day, just to make some content. But anyways, thank you all so much, and as always, Pseudo Mad Army. I'll see you next time.